Cheating is so rarely as a result of just irresponsible pleasure seeking. And it's definitely not just about sex. Because sex in its healthy form is a continuation of closeness. But sexualization, when someone uses sex as a container for anxiety, for self regulation, or for regulation of relationships, or just to feel better, is the opposite. It's a continuation of the absence of closeness. So the question is much deeper. Can closeness be restored? Rather than just, can relationships survive the cheating? And what makes relationships that can survive cheating different from those that can't? And this video is about that. 5 signs that a relationship can be restored, or what needs to happen for it to be restored. The first sign is that both partners are willing to work on feeling safe in closeness. It's not that two people were deeply connected and everything was fine and then one of them suddenly ruined it. Cheating happens when closeness stops feeling safe. Cheating is a defense against closeness. It forms when partners cannot hold vulnerability, fear, or shame together. Cheating is not about passion. It's about escaping closeness and vulnerability. The second sign is that both partners are willing to look honestly and how each contributed to the space where real dialogue became impossible. Cheating happens where there is a crisis, and that crisis is not being recognized, is not being voiced or clarified, and eventually reaches a point that one of the partners can no longer bear. So it is when something is going on that is impossible to talk things through, and the tension does not release, it does not transform into closeness or conversation. A crisis can only be healed when both partners move toward each other, when they dare to be vulnerable and look honestly at how each contributed to the space where real dialogue became impossible. Every affair hides a conversation that never happened. The third sign that both people are willing to shift focus from chasing feeling special to building safety, trust, and emotional contact. When someone says, I don't feel like a man next to her, or I don't feel valuable in this relationship anymore, or I no longer feel like a woman next to him, what they really mean is that they no longer see themselves reflected in the other's eyes the way they want to be. That loss of reflection is experienced as a loss of meaning and a loss of identity. When the initial idealization that every relationship begins with fades, the sense of being special fades with it. And if a person experiences their value only through the eyes of the other, that loss feels like a sudden collapse. From feeling special to feeling unworthy. But that unworthiness has always been there. It's just that the other person is no longer holding up the mirror that once softened its edges and kept it out of sight. And this feeling of worthlessness, a person wants to soothe it, cover it somehow. And at the same time, it seems that the reason for this feeling lies in the other person. Then they begin to turn away, to look in another direction, searching for where they might feel special again. And when they meet someone new, it feels as if they come alive again, as if they've woken up from a coma, suddenly feeling like a man, a woman, or someone deeply desired. So this sign is about the readiness to fall in love with another person, rather than the version of ourselves reflected in the eyes of the partner. Number 4, it's the desire of both partners to work on maturing, to be able to see themselves as a whole and to see the other person as whole as well. Because when someone is cheating, it means they are splitting. It's a reflection of a psyche that has become fragmented. The person can't hold the paradox of love and frustration, closeness and resentment, so they divide it across two people. Splitting is one of the earliest and most primitive defenses, and it shows that if a person were to bring those split parts together, it could trigger a serious emotional breakdown sometimes. It means the person is not ready to integrate it, is not ready to bear the weight of it. Seeing the whole is terrifying, as it makes us face the uncertainty. We don't know what to do with it or how to handle it. Fear of facing the reality that next to the one that I love, I can also feel anger, I can also feel boredom, and I can also feel frustration and still love them. And in this inability to hold both love and anger, tenderness and irritation, for example, or desire and disgust, the person chooses not to withstand, but to divide. So the person externalizes one part, placing into another partner just to maintain some kind of inner balance. The fifth sign is the couple's capacity to reflect rather than blame. So it's the ability to look at what the third person reveals about their relationship instead of seeing them as a problem. The appearance of a third person is always a signal that something important has been forgotten, has been lost, pushed out of awareness. The third person does not appear out of nowhere. They emerge when tension has already built to a point that two people can no longer hold it together. When a couple can contain what is happening between them, the third person becomes a way to temporarily rebalance the system. A triangle creates an illusion of stability where the relationship has already begun to shake. In this sense, the third helps the relationship avoid complete collapse, but it's an illusion. But for a time, it works. The appearance of a third person is not the end, but a symptom, a sign that something must be changed, re-examined, or acknowledged. The sixth sign is the courage to look under disgust. Disgust is often the main feeling surrounding cheating, and it is easy to mistake it for something caused by the betrayal itself, but in many cases, it was already there long before. When tension doesn't turn into dialogue, and when the needs that were once fulfilled by the partner are no longer met, pain builds up, and beneath it are helplessness, sadness, and longing. But instead of facing those feelings or understanding what their unmet needs truly are, the sex suppresses them or devalues them to skip the pain. That's when disgust appears. Disgust is what happens when feelings and needs remain unspoken and unmet for so long that they begin to rot inside. When what once was longing spoils into rejection. A client who recently went through cheating brought this dilemma that sounded like, well, now I need to decide whether to destroy or to save my family. But no, family is someone with whom you have closeness. Cheating is a sign that there was only an illusion of it. Surviving cheating doesn't mean saving the relationship. It often means rebuilding it. It's important to look at it not through what's right or wrong, but through sensitivity to your own limitations. Whether you have the emotional resources, patience, and strength for that kind of effort. Because only when you recognize your own limitations can you begin to see the other person's. And if this is something that you're going through right now, or you want to understand yourself better in it, or just you're ready to reach out for support, book your first 30-minute free call with me. Every trauma, every pain always holds a lot of transformation on the other side. And as always, please like, subscribe, comment, share, and I look forward to seeing you in one of my next videos.